Prince Harry didn't just fly into London. He stormed into the heart of the monarchy like a man on a mission, and the aftershocks are still rattling Buckingham Palace. From the outside, it looked like a simple trip. A son visiting his ailing father, a prince coming home. But those who know the Windsors know better. This wasn't a quiet family reunion. It was a performance. A carefully staged production wrapped in photo ops, charity checks, and emotional speeches. And if you ask Prince William, it was nothing short of a betrayal. Stick with me, because what I'm about to lay out is the truth behind Harry's surprise trip. The trip that lit a fire under his brother and widened the royal rift to the point of no return. And before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the bell, because trust me, you don't want to miss the next twist in this royal war. Now, let's rewind. In California, Harry plays the everyman. Polo shirts, baseball caps, coffee runs, pushing a shopping cart at the local grocery store. The optics scream, "I'm just like you." But the second his jet touched down in London, something shifted. Out came the designer suits, the polished shoes, the stiff-backed royal walk. It wasn't just an outfit change, it was a transformation. One moment, he's Mr. Markle in Montecito. The next, he's His Royal Highness, strutting through London like the prodigal son returned. William saw it immediately. The performance, the act, the carefully calculated image shift. And it wasn't just irritating, it was infuriating. Because Harry didn't warn him. No text, no call, no courtesy. He just appeared, cameras waiting, speeches ready, walking back into Britain like the last few years never happened. Now, for most people, a reunion with your father after illness might seem heartfelt. But in the world of Windsor, context is everything. Harry hadn't just left the monarchy, he'd detonated it. Spare, the Netflix series, the Oprah interviews, they weren't slips of the tongue. They were calculated grenades. He weaponized his pain, turned private grief into global gossip, and cashed in every family feud for headlines and book sales. So, when he strolled back into Clarence House for a 54-minute meeting with Charles, William didn't see reconciliation. He saw exploitation. He saw his father offering grace, while his brother peddled chaos. And that was only the beginning, because Harry didn't stop at a father-son chat. Oh no, he made sure his visit was wrapped in charity PR. A massive $1.5 million donation splashed across headlines, public appearances, emotional speeches, photo ops with grieving families. On the surface, it looked noble, but for William, it screamed self-promotion. Because in the royal family, charity is done with quiet dignity. You support the cause, not yourself. Harry, though, wrapped every move in a press release. Now, pause for a second. What do you think? Genuine generosity or a stunt? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious if you see what William sees. But the part that really lit the fuse was Harry's appearance at the Diana Award. Think about it. A charity founded in their late mother's name. A cause both brothers once supported together. And Harry just waltzes in, alone. No coordination, no heads up, no brother by his side. For William, it wasn't a tribute. It was a hijack. A calculated attempt to seize Diana's legacy and brand it Harry's story. And that's unforgivable. Because William has lived his adult life carrying the crown's weight without turning their mother's death into a spectacle. He grieves privately, serves publicly. He doesn't cash in pain for Netflix ratings. Harry, though, has made grief his brand. And showing up at a Diana charity without William wasn't a coincidence. It was a statement. But Harry wasn't finished. From London, he flew to Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine. The same man who sued the UK government for not keeping him safe in Britain walked straight into an active war zone with a camera crew. He smiled, he posed, he gave speeches about siblings and emotional support. Words that to William sounded like pure hypocrisy. Because let's not forget, this is the same brother who aired private arguments to the world, painted William as a villain, accused the institution of cruelty. And now suddenly he's talking about unity, about healing. William didn't hear wisdom. He heard manipulation. And Meghan? What role did she play in this? Insiders say she signed off on the trip. And William can't wrap his head around that. To him, letting your husband jet into a war zone for photo ops isn't brave. It's reckless. Another sign that Harry's life isn't built on family healing, but on PR stunts. Now, here's where it gets almost absurd. Harry complains about danger in Britain, drags his government to court, then strolls through Kyiv days after missile strikes. He insists he can't bring his children to the UK because it's unsafe, yet flies to a literal war zone with a grin. For William, this wasn't just hypocrisy, it was mockery. A slap in the face to the monarchy, to common sense, and to every protocol he spent years defending. And William's silence during this trip? That wasn't avoidance. That was strategy. Sources close to the palace say he didn't reach out, didn't send a message, didn't even acknowledge Harry's presence. And that silence spoke louder than any public statement ever could. Because William doesn't trust Harry anymore. Not after Spare, not after Oprah, not after the endless podcasts and interviews. Trust isn't about one apology. It's about patterns. And Harry's pattern is clear. One moment, he's lobbing grenades at the family. The next, he's staging photo ops with the Crown's legacy. It's whiplash. And William is done. Let's not pretend the UK public didn't notice either. People aren't lining up in the streets like they used to. The sympathy well has dried up. The British public has moved on. They see through the theatrics. And for William, that's both a relief and a responsibility. Because he's the one carrying the monarchy's future on his back, while his brother plays dress-up in two worlds. And that's the heart of the issue. Harry wants both. He wants the Crown's sparkle, the photo ops, the titles, but he also wants the freedom of California, the smoothies in Montecito, the podcasts, the lawsuits. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. And William? He won't stand for it. Because in his world, you're either in or you're out. And Harry refuses to choose. So where does this leave them? For William, the sadness is buried under duty. The grief of losing his brother, not to death, but to ego, is real. But the trust is gone. And in its place, a cold calculation. He knows that when he becomes king, Harry may try to push back into the fold, dragging Meghan into the spotlight. And that's the nightmare scenario. A reign overshadowed by a brother who can't pick a side. That's why William sees Harry not just as a lost sibling, but as a risk. A risk to stability. A risk to tradition. A risk to the very survival of the monarchy. And unless Harry does something he's never done before, take accountability, apologise, rebuild trust, there's no going back. No reconciliation, no fairy tale reunion, just two brothers on opposite sides of history. So here's the brutal truth. William isn't just furious about a trip. He's furious about a pattern. A brother who weaponizes family pain, then dresses it up as charity. A man who fled the monarchy, then flies back in cosplay. A prince who plays both sides, leaving chaos in his wake. And for a future king, that isn't family drama. That's betrayal. What do you think? Was Harry's UK trip a heartfelt return, or another PR stunt dressed up as charity? Let me know in the comments, because the debate over Harry's true motives isn't going anywhere. And if you think this story is over, you're wrong. This was just one chapter. The real showdown is coming. When Charles steps aside and William takes the throne, the question won't be about brotherly love. It'll be about survival. So make sure you're subscribed. because when the next royal explosion hits, and it will, you'll want to be here when we break it down.